Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Creative Differences Podcast, the podcast that had all four of its members on for one episode in the last several months. Boy. I'm Dallas, and welcome to our double D23 episode, which sounds like it's about titties, but it's not.
And I'm Demi, and if you called me a Disney shill, I'd probably agree with you because they own just about all the media that I love. And I would love to make a movie or television show for them one day. Hit me up, Disney. I got ideas.
I feel it.
Yeah, today we are going to be talking about last week's D23 convention. Mostly we will be talking about the movies and television shows that were announced or given updates or trailers or whatever during their really, really, really big panel from last Saturday night. So, yeah. First off, that panel should have started earlier, probably. I don't know. It was like a 3-hour panel. I stopped looking at Twitter. So first off, I was on the East Coast, so I was 3 hours ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that the panel started at 7 p.m. out here, but it was 10 p.m. where I was when I started taking notes for the panel. So it hit like midnight, and I was like, yeah, they're probably done. They're probably done with everything. And then like at 12:30, I noticed that there were still trailers coming out. And I was like, wait. No, we're still going. What did I miss?
Yeah, what interesting choice to start that late. Yeah, people all over the place trying to watch these trailers.
I mean, they did it for the people who were there in Anaheim, to be fair.
That makes sense. But it's like
the actual thing.
They could be there during the day or a little earlier in the evening.
For sure. If you started at 7, that means that those people were in that auditorium until like 10:30.
Right. People dragging their kids all through the freeway at like 11.
That's amazing. But anyway, yeah. So before we get started.
Yes, before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe, because then maybe one day you'll see us at D23, and then you can say you followed us before we blew up, and that's always a special feeling. So get that feeling for yourself.
If I get a good enough paycheck, y'all might see me at D23 next year. No, actually, I think the next one's not for another 2 years. So in 2 years.
Okay, yeah, 2 years. We got time. Got time to make that money.
Because their membership, actually, you can be a member of D23 for free.
Nice. That's good. That's good of them. Also, for those wondering, Gaby is at her big girl job, and Cassie's ditzy ass just forgot that we were recording today, so she's not here.
It was funny because I was going to add to the Disney shill thing. Me and you are planning to go to Universal Studios.
It's true.
Tomorrow, as of the day that we are recording. And I realized that I have no clothes to wear to Universal Studios that match the park,
right?
Except for like Harry Potter stuff, but I don't want to wear that. And like I could go to Disneyland for weeks with a new outfit or at least a new t-shirt every day for like a month.
Yeah.
I cannot do that with any other park.
I have enough Lion King shirts alone that I could rock a different one every day for a week.
Between Star Wars and Marvel and like a few of my Disney shirts, I'm set to go for a Disneyland trip any day. But Universal Studios, I'm sitting here like, I don't own anything.
Yeah, I went and bought one there because I was like, I don't have any Universal stuff. So I bought a Nope shirt, and I was like, this will be my Universal shirt.
All right, let's get this started. We're going to kick things off with just general Disney stuff. So Disney animated movies, Disney live action movies that are coming in the next few years that were announced or given updates on during D23. So first off, they started with Moana 2. As they should. The panel kicked off with Ali Carvalho singing a brand new song from Moana 2. I believe it's called We're Back. I have seen 2 different titles for this song, but I think it's called We're Back, which is great. I'm excited. I love it. Very different, not a very different vibe from Lin-Manuel Miranda, but Lin-Manuel Miranda does have kind of a lyrical cadence that people can't match, and that's not here for this song.
Okay.
But I'm fine with that.
This one?
He's not.
Oh, okay.
No, we have different songwriters this time. I need to go remember what their names are. But they got really famous during the pandemic for the Bridgerton musical, which I believe just won a Grammy.
Oh, well, shout out to them. Google is telling me Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear.
Yes, Barlow and Bear. That's what they go by. Barlow and Bear are our new, not composers, but our songwriters. The song sounds really good.
Nice.
I like it. It's very catchy.
Love that.
Also, I feel like I've been talking about Moana all year because I have. I literally have. More than any person this year, because we started the year with a Mean Girls review.
Yes.
And this was before we had an announcement that we were even getting a Moana 2 this year. I said in that review, I really wanted to hear what Ali's voice sounds like now that her voice has matured so much more since she was 15, 14 years old in the first movie. I want to hear what it sounds like 10 years later, her singing as Moana. And I'm going to get that at the end of this year.
This is true. This is true.
It's so true. So yeah, I've been talking about Moana all freaking year. Like I said, more than anybody else that you've probably heard on the podcast this year. I've definitely been doing it. For Moana 2, Moana is now the new village chief, and she's a big sister this time around. Everybody was wondering if that was her kid. I've been saying since that first trailer came out that it's definitely her little sister.
I think it would have been wild for them to just be like, oh yeah, Moana had a kid while you were gone.
Yeah. I was like, Disney doesn't tend to age up their Disney princesses that much.
Right.
So she's adorable. They released the trailer, and it is public for everybody to see. Her sister is adorable.
Yes, it's all very cute.
Somebody said she looks like she'll bite your ankles.
I can see that.
She does.
I can see that. She's one of those.
She absolutely does, but she's also super cute. Her running into Moana's arms and going, "You've been gone forever!" And Moana's like, "I've been gone for 3 days."
Yeah, little sister energy.
It looks like it's going to be great. I mean, we're huge fans of the first movie. We remember going to see the first movie.
Yeah, several times.
Several times for you. I only got to see it once in theaters for when I came home for Thanksgiving holiday.
Right, super done.
From university. But yeah, this one looks fun. It looks like they are trying to break a curse by stepping foot on an island.
Yeah.
And this curse has prevented all of their people from uniting, from being together. And that is the goal of this movie, is to bring all of Moana's people together, her entire culture. And that's cool.
Yeah. It looks cute. It looks like, I know it's like this thing with me lately of movies that came out several years ago that I really like, and then the trailer comes out for the new one, and I'm like, I'm not excited, but I'll probably see it. Like, I know that, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty confident that when I watch this movie, I'm going to come out like, that was great. I'm very glad I saw it. But until I get to that point, my level is just like, yeah, cool, they did another one.
Meanwhile, I think for the rest of the year, I think Moana 2 might be my most anticipated movie of this year.
I'm trying to think. I don't even know
I can't think of anything else coming out towards the rest of this year that's like got me so excited as Moana.
Yeah. I know I'm excited for Mufasa because, I have all the Lion King shirts.
And we will talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, also I'm such a huge Ali fan now that I'm like, yeah, I cannot wait to see her do more. She bookended the year, bro. She started the year with Mean Girls, which is a movie I absolutely adore. And she's ending it with Moana 2, which I'm damn near certain I'm definitely going to adore that movie too. So she's having a year. Yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear her play Moana again. And just have that character back because she's one of my favorite Disney princesses.
Yeah, she's great. It's a great character.
She might be top 5. Might be.
I can see that. One of the better ones.
Yeah, I haven't updated my top 5 Disney princess list in a while, but I haven't really confirmed it recently. Right. But yeah, I'm excited. That movie will be out November 27th, I think.
Okay.
So Thanksgiving time. Disney always has a Disney movie out around, usually an animated movie around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think the first one was the Thanksgiving movie for 2016.
Also during that panel, during the Moana 2 panel, The Rock also came out, obviously.
As you do.
I'm more excited about Ali. This is the shift that has happened in the last 10 years. The Rock would have been my excitement 10 years ago. Now I'm like, Ali, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was there, and they announced that he is set to star in another Disney movie coming out. I believe this one's a live action one. It's called Monster Jam, and it is a movie about monster truck drivers.
Yeah. The Rock just, he'll do whatever he wants. And I love that for him. I don't know anything about this movie.
And we'll probably watch it.
Wouldn't be surprised. I like The Rock a lot. You put him in a movie, there's a higher chance I'm going to watch that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have any actual monsters in it. So sorry, Cassie, if you're listening.
I mean, it might. That would be a crazy twist on a monster truck movie.
I think there was one that came out years ago that was the trucks were monsters or something like that.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I'm having a memory of something like that too that I did not see, but...
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it, but I remember it happening. Yeah.
Also, the other funny thing about the panel for me is Ali has been wearing a wig for all of the Moana 2 promo. It's a very good wig, mind you.
Okay,
but good. It's really funny to me because having watched her, like, she like cut off like all of her hair for when Mean Girls came out, just for fun, dyed it pink, all of that. Right. And so I've been watching it like grow for like the span of this last year. And now it's like, I can't tell because you're wearing a wig all the time. You got to be Moana. They like, she's wearing a wig. They got the tattoos covered up. They were like, no, you gonna be a Disney princess for real now.
We're doing Disney Ali right now.
Disney Ali is in the building. That queer stuff got to go somewhere.
do your little gimmick change after you finish this press release.
Wait until November's over. You can go back to whatever you was doing after that.
Do whatever you want after the movie.
Which I think is funny. I think it's great that she does it, though. She seems like she genuinely just is having a great time being Moana.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, but it's also so funny. There's like somebody commented on her Instagram about like the wig, and like she responded to somebody, not even Mickey Mouse could turn me straight, babes.
That sounds on brand.
It is on brand for her. I don't know. I saw somebody recently, I think it actually might have been last night or this morning, who was like, Ali needs to teach like Rachel Zegler how not to be woke or something like that. Blah, blah, blah. And I commented back and was like, if you think Ali is not woke, you actually don't know enough about her.
Where's that coming from? It's always funny. People like that, whenever they don't hear something that sounds quote unquote woke to them, they just assume the person is on whatever side they're on. Which
is crazy because I'm like, if you go through her Instagram, she's so the opposite of whatever this person thinks she is.
Right. So it's like, you're clearly just, you see a person, you don't know anything about them, and like, yeah, I like them. And then they say something like, hey, you know, free Palestine or stop killing black people in the street. And they're like, oh, you're so woke.
She has said both. So
right. So it's like,
on top of being a bi icon.
People are, the internet.
People are weird. So weird. Anyway, next up, after Moana 2, there was, speaking of more environmentalism, the Avatar movies. Yeah, Avatar 3 will apparently have more emotional stakes and new cultures and biomes and settings on Pandora. Avatar 3 will also be titled Avatar Fire and Ash, and we were shown some concept art. The Avatar movies. I like the Avatar movies a lot, actually. I think that they are great. I think the second movie is better than the first one, as a matter of fact.
Interesting. I haven't seen the second, so I can't comment on that.
I think it's because, like, I think we've all gone so hard in the paint about the first movie and how similar it is to other movies. And this one, I was like, I like all these new characters so much, and I'm so attached to these kids, and I like it. I like this a lot. So I like that movie a lot more. And I'm excited to see where this is going. Like, James Cameron has been saying that there will be 5 movies since the first one came out.
Right.
You must have a big story idea in mind, and I just want to see what that is.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be talk, because this is number 3 coming out.
Yeah.
The first one came out 15 years ago.
It was 2009?
Yeah, I think 09. Yeah, this is going to be a long running franchise in terms of like years, which sci-fi movies do that.
Yeah, and I believe as we're talking, he like just turned 70 today. So
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. He's been working for decades.
He's been working.
Oh yeah, like these sci-fi franchises run. Like, I just saw a new Alien movie last night. So like, these franchises go long.
That's true. But you know, Ridley Scott didn't direct that one.
No.
He just produced it. James Cameron, I think, is intent on
doing
directing all of them.
I can see that. That sounds like him. Nah, this is mine. I'm doing. I got it. Pass me the ball.
Pass me the ball. He's not writing all of them, but
okay. He's not gonna Tyler Perry it and just do everything himself.
No.
Fire and Ash. Sometimes you see a title where like the porn parody writes itself, because Fire and Ash is right there. It's right there, and I'm gonna be disappointed if the porn industry doesn't make Fire and Ass sometime in the next year.
Oh Lord. Well, no, it's got to be like after the movie comes out, doesn't it?
That's true. Yeah, you wanna line that timeline up.
Yeah.
And I saw Michelle Yeoh is in the 4th one, not this one.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Cool. Happy for the Avatar people.
Happy for the Avatar people. It's me.
Yes.
Next up, we have Zootopia 2. We discovered that snakes and reptiles, I guess, will be joining the Zootopia world, because there are none in the first movie, I think. I never noticed, but...
Me either.
That makes sense. Ke Huy Quan is going to be playing Gary, who's a snake, and he will be sending Judy and Nick on their new adventure. And we got our first poster, which is literally like all the Zootopia characters ever in the shape of a 2, which is very cool.
I dig it. They got a Judy and Nick in some kind of old school wacky racers looking car.
What's also funny is this movie came out the same year. The first one came out the same year as Moana, and so yeah, we're getting about the same amount of time difference between the two of them.
That was a great year for me in terms of movies that came out. I really liked 2016.
Disney killed it that year.
Yeah, there's some heat. Civil War came out that year. Zootopia, Moana.
Yeah,
It was doing some big things. Also, Ki Hee Kwan is getting that Disney bag.
yeah. They're like ever since Everything Everywhere All at Once, they like, oh no, he works for us.
Yeah, bro. Loki, Zootopia, come on, get this money.
They were like, you worked on Indiana Jones, that's ours now too. You can just come on over here.
I didn't. Is it all mammals in the first Zootopia? Is it like a mammal world?
I think so. I think we've talked about this recently too, actually.
Yeah, I want to say, because I was like, wait, there are certain. So I remember asking something about fish because I'm like, they eat fish, right?
Yes.
Which is one of those things where it's like you start to ask questions and then yeah,
don't ask too many questions.
It goes to a dark place when you're like, well, are those anthropomorphic?
It's like, no, don't ask questions.
Just snakes. Snakes are reptiles.
Don't do it.
But yeah, I'm with it. Also, Jason Bateman, love him. He's my guy. So I'm down for whatever Zootopia 2 is going to be. Also, I kind of like that Zootopia Plus show they did a little while back with the shorts.
Oh yeah, we watched those. I think we watched a few of those together at a hangout.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, away from Frozen 2. Sorry, away from Zootopia 2.
Right.
Frozen 3. Frozen 3, which is releasing in 2027. There was tease to a potential fourth film. I believe actually it's not a tease. I think it's basically confirmed that like Frozen 3 is going to be like Infinity War, and then Frozen 4 is going to be like Endgame, you know, part 1, part 2 type of thing.
Do to them?
I don't think it's going to be that epic of a scale. I think I'm just using it as an example of part 1, part 2 movies.
Are they about to kill Olaf? What's happening?
That'd be insane.
Oh, not my boy.
That's how 3 ends, and 4 is us trying to find a way to bring him back.
Right, like, get the magic snow.
Oh, man. And they also revealed first concept art, which I believe is Anna and Elsa riding their horses together. And I really like that piece of concept art. It's very beautiful. Actually kind of reminds me of, like, Sleeping Beauty.
I was going to say that. I'm looking at it now. Whenever I see concept art, I got to remind myself that the art style is just for the concept.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, this looks much more like Sleeping Beauty than Frozen, but I'm like, this is
the concept art looks like Sleeping Beauty. I would kill for like Disney to make a movie that looks like Sleeping Beauty again. That movie is so
like a modern
beautiful.
day with that art style.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. Whenever I think about the fact that Sleeping Beauty was my favorite Disney movie as a kid, probably still is to this day. I'm like, I was a 5-year-old art snob because what in the world?
It's funny because that's kind of how I feel about The Lion King, because as a kid, it's just like, you know, it's one of those movies that works really well on every level. Like when you're a kid, you can enjoy the songs and the action and the color, stuff like that. But then watching it again as an adult, I'm just like, they really went hard on this movie.
For what was supposed to be the B movie.
Right,
Disney.
like this is the B team, quote unquote. And I'm like, it's the definition of y'all didn't have to go this hard.
But you did, and thank you for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frozen 3, I'll see it. I really liked Frozen 2. I like Frozen 2 more than I like Frozen 1.
I think I did too. I like Frozen 2, and it's funny because I didn't watch Frozen 1 until we did a Throwback Thursday on it.
Which, by the way, you guys should check out our Throwback Thursday for that.
Yes, please do. Because Frozen 2 was going to come out, and I was like, okay. And I was like, this is good. Like, when it came out, when did Frozen come out? 2013?
So long ago, 2013, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I was living with my cousins who are twins and 5, and I was avoiding things that I thought I would have to hear a lot at the house, because you're like, when you have
inundated
a 5-year-old.
with.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do Frozen right now. Then, you know, years later, we're on the podcast, and I'm like, Frozen's good. This is good. So I saw the second one. I was like, I like this even better.
Yeah, I remember seeing the first Frozen in theaters, and I took my younger brother. Cassie was with me because we were hanging out with a friend of ours who lives out of the States. Okay. So she was in town and was like, hey, you guys want to go see Frozen? And I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Like, it had been out for a minute too. And that theater was still, we went to ArcLight. That theater was still packed, even though it had been like a month since the movie came out.
Oh, yeah, that movie.
And man, the plot twist towards the end, the gasp from the entire theater.
That's the one thing that makes me wish I would have seen it earlier, because I knew about that already. Because you know, I was on Tumblr, and Tumblr was having a a time with
Field
that.
day. Yeah.
They were upset.
But man, the gasp in the theater, like there are very few like theater reactions that I remember so vividly, but that one, like everybody in the theater, we all were like,
Like, no, this nigga didn't just say that.
Disney, how could you? What is
wild.
this?
If only there was someone who loved you. Like, what?
As somebody who is a huge Elsa fan, though, of course, I love Frozen 2 a little bit more.
Right.
Because that one's a little bit more Elsa-centric than the first one is. And I actually think her songs in that movie are better. And I love
tend to agree.
Let It Go, but I love Into the Unknown, and I love Show Yourself.
And I have a special place in my heart for Lost in the Woods because it's ridiculous.
I know you do, yeah. No, but also the animation on Show Yourself and for Into the Unknown, both of those sequences are like gorgeous animated sequences. Like I would argue that those are two of the best animated sequences of all time.
Good. Yeah,
they're so good. I remember working at ArcLight, and I would purposefully like try to go into a Frozen 2 theater whenever Show Yourself was playing because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Gosh. So yeah, Frozen 3. It's got some real high expectations on it.
Which a lot of Disney sequels do these days.
Yeah, but even as people who like maybe like aren't the biggest Frozen fans in the world, like even still, like I'm like, oh, Frozen 3 got to be good.
Yeah, y'all can't fall off here.
Yeah, it's not like Moana 2 where I'm like, oh no, I love Moana, oh my gosh. But like Frozen, I'm like, I really like Frozen, and that movie got to hit.
Yeah,
but I think they got the same like writer and director, so
okay, nice,
should be fun.
But speaking of sisterly love stories,
oh my gosh, next up we got the live action Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. We
got our first look at Stitch, which, mind you, so like when it comes to the live action Disney movies, I'm one of those people who's like, I'm going to give it a chance before I just start talking a lot of mess about it. I understand why people would be like, on a corporate level, I get why you guys might be against live action Disney movies. However, on an artistic level, I'm like, nah, let me watch it first. Let me see what y'all do with it.
Yeah.
Now, I love Lilo and Stitch.
It's great.
And one of the things that I was extremely worried about was what Stitch was going to look like.
Yeah.
Because Stitch is one of my all-time favorite Disney characters. I've loved Stitch since that movie since before that movie came out, when they were just doing trailers of him popping up in all the other Disney movies.
Yeah. Some great marketing.
They should recreate that, but with the live-action Disney movies.
Honestly, yeah, that'd be great.
That would be so much fun. When I saw the footage of this first look at Stitch, of live action Stitch, I was like, he's still so cute.
He's still cute. That's all we need.
Oh my gosh, he's adorable. I would take him home too, Lilo. He's so cute. He's so cute and fluffy. Adorable. I was so scared that he was going to come out like looking like that OG live action Sonic that we almost got.
Oh boy.
But no, Disney did not fall into that trap. They came out the gate on jump with a really good looking Stitch. And he looks so much like the animated version too.
Yeah.
He looks like he just popped off the page.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
I'm digging it. Also, it's funny because, you put anything on the internet and niggas are going to nigga. So like people are taking the clip where he comes out and he says his little phrase like, "Niga nana quista" or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Shorted, so it just sounds like he's saying nigga. It's like, we can't have nothing.
I need y'all to stop.
Can't have nothing with you niggas.
But yeah, also Chris Sanders came back to do the voice of Stitch.
Yeah.
Which is important to me.
He was good.
He was great. He was also the director of the original movie. So
yeah, and the writer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice that he came back.
Yeah, I think this movie is actually coming out in theaters. I think originally it was going to be a Disney Plus movie, but I think it's now a theatrical movie.
Oh, good.
And it's coming out summer 2025.
Yeah.
Exciting. Also, a movie that I don't have on our list, but is also very similarly, I think it started off as a Disney Plus movie, is now going to be a theatrical movie. We've got Freakier Friday, which is the sequel to Freaky Friday,
right? Starring
Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. I think this is her first theatrical movie since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long ass time.
It is. Lindsay Lohan is on her comeback game right now. I'm super stoked about this movie because I loved the original Freaky Friday. I remember going to see it in theaters. I remember buying a guitar because I wanted to learn how to play guitar so bad after watching that movie. I never learned how to play it. I do own a guitar though. That's what's funny about it. I did buy a guitar with my own money and never learned how to play it. But yeah, I'm excited about Freakier Friday. there's not much to tell about it. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, there's not a lot to tell unless they release like a trailer for it.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, this is happening.
Yeah, but something that did release its first teaser trailer is the live action Snow White starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. And they also put out their first poster. This is the first live action Disney movie I think that's gotten, or like the live action Disney princess movies that's gotten a poster that's not just like the key like item of the movie. So like Cinderella's was like the glass slipper, Aladdin's was the lamp. Oh, what was Little Mermaid's? I think Little Mermaid. Oh wait, actually it might be Little Mermaid. I don't think Little Mermaid had one of those posters either.
Okay.
But yeah, because I thought Snow White's first poster was legit going to be the poison apple.
Right. That's an easy idea.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so teaser trailer. I'm excited. It's being directed by Mark Webb.
He did Amazing Spider-Man, right? Yes.
And 500 Days of Summer.
Yes.
And, you know, like I said, starring friend of the podcast, Rachel Zegler.
We always love a friend of the show.
Yeah, I am so excited about this. I am a huge fan of Rachel Zegler, have been since before West Side Story came out due to her YouTube videos of her singing covers and stuff like that. Now she's a movie star.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like the trailer, we get to hear her singing Whistle While You Work, and she sounds phenomenal. Amazing.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same.
I cannot hear that song without thinking of Whistle While You Twerk by the Yin Yang Twins.
Also, like, I personally like the visuals on the movie. I know a lot of people are talking about the CGI. I'm also somebody who, like, I'm not as much of a stickler on CGI as most people are. I'm like, that doesn't really make the movie. Like, if it doesn't take me out of the movie, then I'm fine.
Yeah. If it's not like distractingly bad, then I'm cool with it.
Yeah, like, you know, The Flash is CGI. I was like, that's an aesthetic choice, but it's taking me out.
It was some strange aesthetic choices in that one.
Yeah, this one I feel like is also an aesthetic choice, but I feel like it makes it feel more magical and whimsical and not of this world.
Okay.
Which I'm cool with. I think it looks really cool, really interesting. I think Rachel Zegler looks good in the classic Snow White dress. They have somehow managed to make that come to life without it looking horrific.
Yeah, blue and yellow.
And the red. Thankfully, they've gotten Sandy Powell, who made the dress. She also did the dress for Cinderella, which is by far my favorite Disney princess dress that has ever been brought to live action.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm super excited about this one. I still don't know if Gal Gadot can sing. I know that she's singing for this movie, and I'm still nervous about that.
I forgot she was in this movie until I watched that trailer. I was like, oh, right, she's the queen.
I just want to know if she's going to do the meme, man. Like they did in Pinocchio.
Do the what?
The meme where she goes down into the trap door laughing.
She has to. They have to do that. Like,
I want to see it.
It's too iconic to not do it.
I mean, it's also so iconic, you might try to avoid it.
I hope they do it, because that was my favorite part of that Pinocchio movie.
It's horrifying.
It is, but it was great.
Oh my goodness. But also, the original Snow White movie horrified me as a kid. I used to watch it over and over again, and yet was still horrified. I don't know why.
It's creepy. It's a creepy-ass movie.
It's creepy. I don't know why I decided to torture myself.
They love scaring children back then with cartoons.
First ever Disney movie ever made, and now it's getting a live action remake with one of my favorite young actresses out there and one of my favorite young singers, as a matter of fact, to be fair. Also, to all those people who were complaining and were like, oh, she's not going to have a love interest because Rachel Zegler was complaining about it. She has a love interest. Please stop. Please stop. You guys are not passing the vibe check in the comments of that trailer, by the way. None of you are passing the vibe check.
Yeah.
The movie comes out March 21st, 2025. Watch this space. I will probably be reviewing it. We'll see who else joins me on that one. And maybe I will get the others to do a throwback reaction to the original Snow White movie.
That would be interesting. I haven't seen it since I was a small child. So
I don't think I have either, which is funny. Maybe we shouldn't admit that, because then people will treat us like Rachel Zegler and be like, oh my gosh, she hates the movie.
Well, you know, I'm not in it, so they can say whatever I mean.
All right, but yeah, like I said, March 21st, 2025. Looking forward to it. Next up, we have Tron Ares. This is made for my demographic. We got a logo reveal, which I feel like is just like, you know, it looks like Tron.
Yeah, Tron and the word Ares. Like, okay, cool. Yep. It's like Tron.
And like the thing and the ship in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like an M. The movie will have more characters entering into the real world. That's fascinating to me.
Okay.
And the music will be done by Nine Inch Nails. Also fascinating to me. Last movie was Daft Punk. This movie is Nine Inch Nails. Very interesting.
Which is interesting to me because I don't listen to Nine Inch Nails, but I do think that, is it Trent Reznor and
Yeah.
Atticus Ross? Great movie composers.
Which is interesting that for this movie, they're going by Nine Inch Nails. Usually they go by like their actual
Yeah, so
names.
I'm thinking like, is it gonna just, are they making songs for the movie?
I don't know,
As
but I
opposed to
know
just
that
doing the score?
I don't think so, though. I feel like they're probably doing the score. But maybe
Yeah,
they're
I'm
not.
like, why-
No, they're doing the score, but they're being credited as Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, I don't usually see that.
Maybe they're doing more music in the style of Nine Inch Nails for the movie, and that's why they're going by that instead of their usual credit name. I don't know, but they're doing the music. The movie comes out October 10th, 2025. I have my worries about this movie. However, I'm a huge Tron fan, so I am going to see it. I like the first Tron movie, and I am always in awe of how it was created. It is the only movie of its kind. I wish Prop Culture was still on Disney Plus so that I could highly recommend people to go watch that episode about Tron and learn about the making of the movie because it's fascinating. But I also absolutely adore Tron Legacy because that's what actually got me into Tron in the first place. So I'm sad that we're not, it doesn't seem like we're continuing from what we saw, the story from Tron Legacy, except for the fact that characters are now going to be entering into the real world, which is something that did happen at the end of Legacy. So
Okay.
I don't know. I would have loved to have seen Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde's characters return to this film.
Right.
But I'll still see it because I still want to see where we're going with Tron. Because like I said, I love Tron.
Yeah. I'm really curious about that score. Like,
You should be.
I like them.
They're probably going to do a sick job with it too.
I forgot they did Mutant Mayhem. I was thinking of like the movies that they've done that are like, I was like, I know they did Soul, Social Network. They're good.
They're so good at what they do.
Shout out to them.
October 10th, right after my birthday. So birthday movie. Woohoo.
Hey, and it's not scary.
And it's one of my favorite series. I love Tron. But next up, we have Mufasa, the Lion King. Mufasa.
A movie made for me.
This movie was made for you.
Yeah, so I watched the trailer. I didn't expect that to be the story of like, they weren't, I guess, like blood brothers.
You didn't see the teaser? They have that in the teaser.
I don't think I did. So like I saw this new one when this came out and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I see why Scar hates this nigga so much now because it's like, hey, I was actually going to be the king and then we adopted Jolie last.
Well, so I'm curious because it seems more like almost a Thor situation because it doesn't look like Scar's pride is the Pride Rock pride. It seems like that's Mufasa's. It seems like Mufasa's pride might actually be the Pride Rock pride that they're going to go look for to find his people and where he comes from. And that Scar comes from a different pride, but he's prince of that pride, which, I mean, still mad because I'm supposed to be leading something and I ain't leading nothing.
Right.
So
it does raise some questions. What happened to all these niggas?
But it is kind of similar to Thor and Loki in the sense that Thor born a prince of this particular of Asgard, and Loki being technically still a prince of the Frost Giants, although Loki doesn't know that until he's an adult, but still being like, hey, I'm supposed to be ruling something and you took that from me. Let me rule something.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm always happy to have like another original story that comes out of the Disney remake roster.
Yeah.
It was like the last one was like, yeah, it's Lion King. You did Lion King again. Good job. But it's like now you're doing a new story so I can watch it and not just compare it to the original that I like a whole lot more.
Yeah, me and you are two people who are not nearly as harsh on the live action Lion King as most people. Yeah, because you're just like, it's Lion King all over again. Of course I'm gonna like it.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
I like Lion King. They made Lion King again, and they put Donald Glover in it. So yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's Lion King all over again. But like they did like a technical marvel by having the entire movie be CGI. I think that's amazing and interesting.
Yeah,
and I think that's good for the industry in its own way. Maybe not storytelling wise, but technologically, sure.
Yeah, so it's like visuals, great accomplishment. Yeah. Story wise, could have tried a little harder, but hey,
we're here.
Now we're doing that.
But now we're getting an original story out of it, and it looks really like a really interesting story. And I think that they took a lot of the criticism about the animals not having such like emotional reactions because they look so realistic, and giving them more anthropomorphized like faces to show emotion a lot better. I think they took that critique really well, and that they've switched it up pretty well.
Yeah, you can see it in the smiles when Mufasa's jumping around, and when they're like, all right, fine, bring this little stray along with you, and Scar looks very happy about it.
It works. I think it works well. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is your most anticipated for the rest of the year. Mine is Moana 2.
Right.
Disney's got it. We're good.
They got us. They always got us.
So you want to take us through Pixar?
Let's go through Pixar. We are starting with Dream Productions, which is funny because it makes me think of dreamy films.
Thank you.
Dream Productions is a series that follows the production studio that creates Riley's dreams and Inside Out.
Yeah, that's actually what I do for a living.
It's perfect. And it's set between Inside Out 1 and Inside Out 2. This is interesting because you can do kind of whatever you want, obviously within reason, and like... Hey,
it's like multiverse. You can just do anything.
Yeah, it's like we make dreams. So this can be an anthology. This can be whatever kind of genre you want. You can go imaginary friend style. You can go like... You can do a nightmare and get some spooky vibes. Obviously, like,
you can also just
too much.
Do the weirdest things, because dreams don't behave properly.
They don't.
So
they're all like freaking David Lynch movies.
So just do whatever you want, and like we'll be like, yeah, it's a dream.
I'm really interested in like what they do with this, because I love weird stuff, and I love like an anthology that kind of just does whatever it wants from time to time. They haven't said that this is an anthology. That's just me projecting, but
I feel like it probably is, though. It's a bunch of dreams. I don't think she's gonna have like a linear.
Like, I know she has continuity in all her dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody does.
Right. So yeah, I'm curious. I didn't get around to seeing Inside Out 2. I did see the first one. I liked it very much. I still might watch the second one. We'll see.
Inside Out 2 is very, very good.
I've heard great things about it.
And also, I think you should watch Inside Out 2 because it'll give you an idea actually of what this show will be, because there is an entire sequence that takes place in Dream Productions.
Oh, in the second one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I probably, because they do that in the first one too, right?
I think a little bit, but they like, we saw that she has dreams, but we didn't see where those dreams come from, I think, in the first movie.
Okay.
The second one, like, is like, no, this is where her dreams are made.
This is the actual studio. But yeah, I'm with it. Pixar usually does not miss. So
yeah.
And on to something new from Pixar. Win or Lose.
Another series, actually, but this is the first Pixar series.
Yes. And it is about a baseball team, looks like, based on the trailer.
Yes.
And I remember hearing about this, like, oh, they're making a baseball series. And I'm like, I like sports stuff. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. This trailer looks insane in a way that I was not expecting. I'm really curious now. Like, I might actually want to check this out, because they're doing like, there's like Scott Pilgrim vibes where they go into like a video game style, and then they change different animation styles for this and that. And I'm like, what is this? This is about baseball?
Yes, it is about baseball. We've talked about this show once before, and I said it then, and I will say it now. I signed an NDA about this TV show, so I can't talk about it.
That's funny. I forgot this was that one.
Yeah. And I signed it like a couple years ago. I actually don't remember when, so I'm just not even going to test my luck.
That's fair. You don't want them. I don't
want Disney coming after me.
No, they got them lawyers go crazy over there.
Yeah, they got shooters.
They do. But so yeah, I'll fill in the blanks with, I'm very curious about this now. It looks interesting. To me, can neither confirm nor deny if it is interesting.
I cannot.
But yeah, I'm curious. I'll probably check it out. You know, we all know somebody with Disney Plus.
It starts on December 6th.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. On to something that I think Demi is allowed to talk about. Toy Story 5.
Ah! My favorite of the Pixar series.
It's a good one. It's definitely one of their best.
I love Toy Story. Like, if you look at I have a ranking of Toy Story. I have a ranking of Pixar movies on my Letterboxd account, and literally 4 out of my top 5 are Toy Story movies.
Which is very strong ranking for Toy Story.
It is very, very strong ranking.
I think I have, out of my top 5, I think 4 of them are Incredibles and Toy Story movies. So they have like Incredibles, both of those, and then I think Toy Story 1 and 3 are my top
Incredibles
4.
Is the only one that's breaking up the Toy Story ranking.
Yeah, some of their best stuff.
They released a logo, which is literally just like the Toy Story logo, but with a 5.
Right.
As expected.
Yeah, Andrew Stanton is directing. What has he done? Bugs Life, Finding Nemo.
He's done a lot of Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm. They work with him. They know what they're getting with Andrew Stanton. Releases 2 summers from now, 2026. Because they just now told us about it. They're finally going up against electronics. The story is toys versus electronics. With apparently an army of 50 Buzz Lightyear toys stuck in a malfunctioning play mode as the villain. Which, man, villainous Bugs Lightyear. It makes me think of Small Soldiers. Obviously, you're not going to go that hard with it because this is
Love
Pixar,
that movie.
but great movie. And I'm like, if you make like a more kid-friendly Small Soldiers and you have Buzz Lightyear as like Chip Hazard, I am about it.
I am curious because they did release an official image from the movie, and within that image we have our main people except for Buzz. Buzz is not in that photo, but
Right.
Woody is there with Forky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Forky should be there. Woody is there.
Right.
And at the end of the 4th movie, Woody decided to be a lost toy. So
Yeah. So some questions.
Woody, how'd you make it home?
Yeah. What happened? How'd you get there, buddy?
Yeah, because he's there with Jesse and with Ham
And Slink,
and
Rex,
Rex.
Bullseye. Oh, Buzz is in this picture.
Oh, is he?
He's next to Forky. I didn't see him.
Oh, I saw I'm looking at like the thumbnail of the photo. He does not look like himself in that thumbnail.
Yeah, Buzz is there. Yeah, and then the kid is under the sheet with the tablet, as kids do.
Great. Well, Woody is there with our main crew, and it's like, oh, Woody, you're not lost anymore. Also, where's Bo Peep? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I only saw Toy Story 4 once. He stayed with her at the end of that? Yeah,
Yes,
so like,
he did.
She didn't want to come back?
I'm a huge Bo Peep and Woody shipper, so I'm like, yo, where's Bo at?
And she was great in Toy Story 4.
I love her in Toy Story 4. They finally gave her something to do.
Exactly. Instead of just being on a lamp.
But yeah, I'm a big Toy Story fan. So it was funny because I remember growing up, I had a Woody because Woody was my favorite. I don't know, maybe that's the beginning of my villain love. I don't care. Anyway,
He wasn't a full villain.
he's close though.
I mean, the original story, he was going to be a full villain.
Yeah.
They toned it down a little bit.
Woody's my favorite, always has been. I had a Woody doll that had the string on the back and everything. The best. And then my younger brother, who's about 5 years younger than me, every time there was a new Buzz Lightyear that came out,
Nice.
always got the new Buzz Lightyear.
Nice.
Always got the new Buzz Lightyear. He was a huge Buzz Lightyear fan. Like, that was his thing. Toy Story was a big part of our childhood because he was so into Toy Story. I think more so than even I was. So.
Yeah. Same, like, I grew up in a Disney house because my mom worked for Disney when I was a child. So, like, all the movies, I had a Woody, I had a Buzz Lightyear. I used to make Woody try to kill Buzz Lightyear to be, accurate to the canon.
I accidentally made my Woody stick to the canon, and I didn't realize it because it was years ago. I lost my Woody. No idea.
Oh, wow.
No idea what ever happened to him. Don't know where I lost him. I don't even remember the last place that I had him. But I remember watching Toy Story 4 and crying because I was like, I lost Woody. He's out there hanging out with Bo Peep.
Yeah, and that creepy ass Gaby doll.
They don't have to hang out there.
And her scary ass Goosebumps looking henchman. But yeah, Toy Story 5. I'm very interested in seeing how they do the toys versus electronics.
Yeah. I understand the people who are like, it should have ended at 3 because it was such a good ending. I get it. But also, 4 was great.
Yeah, if something has a great ending, then it's like, that's cool. But if they make another one, and there have been lots of movies where I'm like, okay, it's not exactly what I want right now. Like, I was recently going through my Facebook memories because I'm always doing that to make sure anything that I said that was terrible back in the day I can delete. But there was something I said about Bad Boys when they announced Bad Boys 3. And I was like, Martin Lawrence is like 50. Bad Boys about to turn into the Expendables if y'all don't stop it. And then years later, I reposted it with, I'm so glad they didn't stop it because I love the 2 new Bad Boys movies. And if you would have asked me when they announced it, I would have been like, nah, they're old. We don't need that. But
I can see why.
Yeah, it works.
Sometimes you just got to let people make their movies and judge it off of that.
Exactly. So I will be there for Toy Story 5. Like I'm there for every Toy Story.
New Pixar movie coming up.
We got a new one. It's called Hoppers. It follows a girl who transfers her brain into a robot beaver in order to learn more about the secrets of beavers. That is an insane premise.
Oh, I was reading that premise like, really? Okay.
What a thing to do. John Hamm is in it. Shout out John Hamm. He voices the mayor who is trying to destroy the beaver's home, which, you got to have an authority figure trying to destroy nature because that's what they do.
That is how it be.
We got an image. A beaver getting chased by an old white lady. And
in the Pixar style.
yes. And there's a kid sitting in a chair with what I'm guessing is a brain transferred to a robot machine, which looks like one of those hair dryers that you used to see in the sitcoms back in the day.
I actually still use those whenever I go get my hair done because I have so much hair that it takes forever to dry it.
It's funny because I said back in the day, but I was like, I have no reason to think that's not just still a current day common thing.
It's just definitely still a thing.
When I was a kid, if I had to be in there with my mom, I would see all those machines. And obviously, in my modern life, I don't have.
You're a grown man, and you don't have to go in those places.
Exactly. So it's like I haven't seen one since I was younger. So I associate them with back in the day. But yeah, it makes sense they would still be using them.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, I see them whenever I get my hair done. Probably will see one very soon. I sit under one all the time. Yeah, I saw that premise and was like, okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna wait till we get the trailer and see what's up with this one.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds odd. And, odd is fun, but doesn't jump out at me. It's like, oh, I got to see the girl transfers her brain into a robot beaver movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moving on. Elio,
I believe.
Elio. We got a new look at Elio. Let's talk about it. It is very pretty. They're sharp-toothed monsters sitting with Elio on I don't know what that is.
It looks like a slide or something.
Yeah. More importantly, it looks pretty. There's colors everywhere. It's sparkly. It's shiny.
It's space.
It looks like a fun time. And also, we got Zoe Saldana. She's joining the cast. In what capacity? I'm not sure. But who cares? Zoe Saldana is great. And she loves playing aliens. Just doing space things in general.
If she's playing an alien, yeah. But also, pretty good cast so far because I think America Ferrera is also in this movie as the mom.
Okay. Like that.
I'm just still waiting on this movie to be released. I feel like we've been talking about this one for like a while now.
Yeah, it does feel like when that got announced quite some time ago.
And because I remember we were making, not horrific jokes, but, we were making jokes about, because Pixar likes to show trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, are they going to show us Elio losing his eye? Because that's crazy.
Yeah, because the last one of these I can think about with Little Boy with an Eye Patch is Kubo. And that movie's heavy on the trauma. He loses both of his parents twice somehow in that movie.
And also, Pixar gave us Up. And
they like to get the tears.
Up starts out trying to get you to cry. So
yeah. Pixar is a special kind of cruel to their mainly child audience.
They be wild. They be trying to show you. They be like, the world gets dark, but don't worry. It's also a good place.
But it is all worth it to stick with Pixar because as a gift to me, they are making Incredibles 3.
That's all we know. That's all we got. That's all they said.
All we know. They announced it is in the works. And that tells me hopefully it will not be 14 years between 2 and 3.
Hopefully.
Listen to me, audience, when I say this. I probably like Incredibles more than anyone you know. I love these movies.
Probably, which is insane because I love The Incredibles.
Yeah, like, I have seen both of these movies so many times. I've seen the special features on the DVDs.
Oh, God.
I know the backstory of the girl who got sucked into a jet turbine because she had a cape on. It's very sad. I don't know why they did that. She was freaking...
It's Pixar.
Yeah. She was 15. Why you add that to the story? Yeah, like they have bios on the... If you have the Incredibles DVD for the first one, check it out. It's really cool stuff. Which I do. They have bios for all of those superheroes. And for some reason, they decided to establish that Stratagal is 15 years old. And it's like, hey, that's the one who got sucked into a plane. Why did you do that, Brad Bird? What kind of monster are you?
The Incredibles has a very special place in my heart. This is also in my top 5 Pixar movies. Because I remember when I was in middle school, my dad had like work friends that we hung out with. Mm-hmm. And they would call me Violet. Because I was always so quiet and so shy. And I used to wear my hair in braids before I started straightening my hair. And I would wear like my braids, like every time they saw me, they were like, your braids are always in front of your face, always like hiding from people. So they started calling me Violet because of The Incredibles. And I always kind of relate that family to like my own family, which is interesting because when the movie first came out, like, Elastigirl, my mom, Mr. Incredible, my dad, me as the oldest daughter, Violet, and then my younger brother, who's 5 years younger than me, Dash. I was like, you're very much the Dash of the family, and I'm very much the Violet of the family. It fit very perfectly.
Right.
But at the time that movie came out, we did not have our youngest brother, but now we do. And he's definitely a Jack of the of the family. So yeah, always really related my family to The Incredibles, so it's always really fun when we get a new Incredibles movie, which has only happened once. So
Right. But
let's get another one.
I'm always here for it. And Brad Bird is returning to direct. Apparently, writing credit is TBA. I would guess that he's going to write.
Yeah, I mean, it's in development. It's in early development. They're just telling us that, like, hey, guys, we're planning to do it, but there's nothing really done yet except to say that we are doing it.
Right. So
it'll be a few years before we even get this, though.
I'm here for it. Because until Spider-Verse came out, The Incredibles were my favorite superhero movies. So, like, Brad Bird, bless us again, sir.
We'll see if the Fantastic Four First Steps can take over as your favorite Fantastic Four movie, but it might not make it.
It's a tough one. We'll see.
It's a toughie.
Also, for fans of Elastigirl, we eaten.
Oh, no.
We are so back.
Oh, God. I kind of hope that they age up the characters just a little bit, though. I would love to see, like, Jack a little bit older.
I really want to see
powers.
what Jack is like with a kid, like as a kid, instead of as a baby.
Like a 3-5-year-old Jack, maybe.
Yeah, something somewhere in
different. There. Nothing like, he doesn't have to be like 10. I just want to see him like, a little bit older. Even a teenage Violet, because like she's still a preteen, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are all characters that could be interesting.
Yeah, move her up to teen status, move Dash up to preteen status.
Mm-hmm.
Move Jack up to kid status.
Elastigirl's still gonna be fine.
Yeah, and their parents having to deal with like a teenager would be insane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Teenage Violet. She was already going wild in the second one.
Exactly. All right, next up, I'm going to be honest with you guys. By the time all the rest of these announcements started coming out for Disney Plus and stuff, I was exhausted. It was like 1 a.m. So I stopped. But I did catch the Percy Jackson and the Olympians stuff that they talked about because I'm a huge Percy Jackson fan. I love that show. Favorite show of the year so far, guys. Cannot talk about it enough. I was like, you know what? I need to rewatch this show. But yeah, season 2 has already begun filming. They are in production, and season 2 will, in fact, be based on, as we would assume, Sea of Monsters, which is the second book of the Percy Jackson series, which I plan to reread before season 2 comes out, just the same way I did with The Lightning Thief. They gave us our first poster for the second season, which looks really, really cool, with the tattered flag on the shore with the water washing up.
Oh, yeah.
And it says New Storm Rising, which makes sense. I'm also wondering, and I think I've seen a couple of other people on Twitter also make the same theory as to whether or not that is a reference to what happens at the end of the second book, which I will not spoil for anybody who does not know anything about Percy Jackson and just wants to go into season 2 fresh and liked the first season and has never read the books. I will not spoil it for you, but I do wonder if that's part of it. I think the second book also probably introduces us to our overarching prophecy of the entirety of the series going forward, which also might be a big part of that phrase on the poster as well. We got a production announcement video, which is mostly a montage of things that happened in the first season, but towards the end, we do see Percy on a horse looking so much older.
Yeah.
These kids are growing so fast. It's like Stranger Things all over again. Like, I look at season 1 and I'm like, oh, that's a kid. And then I hear his voiceover over this production announcement video. I was like, that's a teenage boy. That's a man. What is happening? You're a child. Go, what? My kids are growing up. I don't know these kids, but like, like I got like 1 season of these kids with their like prepubescent, almost puberty voices, and now they've got like deep teenage voices. I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Wait a minute, guys. Whoa, we just finished season 1. The baby fat is starting to melt off their faces. Like
kids be aging right before our eyes.
They be aging so fast, man. And even like at events since season 1 came out, like you can just see them growing up. And I'm just like, ugh, watching 5 seasons of this show is gonna be killer, because you guys are gonna get so that you guys are going to become like full-on teenagers before my eyes.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be, like you said, Stranger Things all over again.
Yeah, it's like watching my own younger brother grow up. Like, he's also like around the same age. And I'm like, I remember when you were smaller, like literally at the beginning of the pandemic, and now you look like this.
Right.
What's happening? But I'm super excited. I love Percy Jackson. That's I think it's my second favorite book series of all time. You guys can check out our episode on our top 5 favorite books.
Oh yeah, we did do
where
that.
I talk about that. Yes, we did do an episode on our top 5 favorite books. I talked about Percy Jackson as well as Heroes of Olympus so much, and I hope that once this series is done, we also get a Heroes of Olympus series. Moving on to more mythological stuff, not Greek myth, but just modern mythos. The Lucasfilm, aka Star Wars panel, which is a myth all its own.
Yeah.
It is the American myth, in my opinion, along with superheroes. Superheroes are also like the modern myth. Star Wars is like the modern myth. But yeah, we've got Skeleton Crew first up, our next Star Wars TV series. They released the first trailer and the first poster. The trailer looks so good, looks so much fun, looks like Goonies in Star Wars, or if you are a tabletop RPG player, Kids on Bikes in Star Wars. I'm so excited. Like, this feels, I love Star Wars. Like, I've loved Star Wars since I was 8, 9 years old. It's like, it's somebody the other night was like, what is the love of your life? And I'm like, the love of my life is Star Wars. Like, it has always been there for me. It has always been a joy to just return to the Star Wars galaxy, usually no matter what.
Right.
Being somebody who fell in love with this galaxy as a child, watching this trailer, like, hits me right in, like, my inner child. Like, I remember being 9 years old, and, like, Star Wars is what got me to start writing. Like, I started writing stories after I saw Star Wars for the first time. And the first thing I ever tried to seriously write was basically Star Wars fan fiction about some kids who are going to go off and save their friends who were abducted by somebody right before their eyes.
Okay.
And so watching this trailer, that's not the story of this show. The story of this show is very much these kids stumble upon this mysterious old Jedi temple, and it leads them off on this adventure far, far away from home.
Right.
And like, I watched that trailer and I'm just like, oh, 9-year-old me would have dreamed of having a Star Wars adventure like this. Would have, like, if I was playing pretend that I was in the Star Wars universe, this is something that I would have dreamed up for sure. And I love that. I love the way that this looks. I think it's cool that they've created like Star Wars suburbia.
Yeah, that was interesting. 'Cause that's not something I usually see in Star Wars. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, the first thing we see is like this Star Wars suburbia, and I'm just like, this doesn't exist in Star Wars. Well, I mean, I guess it does now. Like, yeah, of course. Why can't there be a suburbia in Star Wars? We've got like a planet that is nothing but sky rises. Like, why can't there be suburbia in Star Wars? It was funny, I was talking to Jesse after the trailer came out, and he was like, one of the things that I often think about when watching fantasy sci-fi stuff is, what is this world's version of like a bus stop or a train station or a diner or a coffee shop? And this show seems to have answered that question for Star Wars. Like, this is what it looks like. As well as like Andor had like cereal in an episode once. Like, there are very mundane things in Star Wars that we never think about. And I think it's cool that we kind of get to touch on that here with these kids getting to see, here's what a regular life looks like for a kid in the Star Wars universe. We don't really get a lot of kids in the Star Wars universe. I mean, we do, but they're never doing like normal things.
Yeah, they're being murdered by Anakin Skywalker.
Or if you're Anakin Skywalker, you were a slave. So,
or being a slave, yeah. It's like, it's not a lot of great things for the kids in Star Wars usually.
Or if you're Osha and May, you were the only 2 children in your community. So it's very rare that we see normal kids doing normal kid things in the Star Wars universe. And this is going to show us that, but also take them on this grand adventure through the galaxy that we know is dangerous and full of adventure and fun.
Yeah.
And if the trailer is anything to go off of, they will seemingly come across a Jedi Knight who will be played by Jude Law. So yeah, like, everything about this just, it looks so much fun. This is something if I eventually have kids, like, this is something that I would show them. Like, it's like, yes, this is Star Wars. Star Wars is made for families. And I think it's cool that we've got something like Andor, which is definitely more for an adult audience. It's definitely far more mature. But I do like when Star Wars focuses in on, like, George Lucas made Star Wars for 12-year-old kids to teach them morality and ethics and to teach them to do the right thing, even when it's hard. So, like, I'm like, this is what this show is. This is like the essence of what George Lucas wanted Star Wars to be. And I think that's really, really cool. And I think it looks really good. It is from John Watts, who gave us Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home and No Way Home. And also Christopher Ford, who I think also worked on those films as well. And I'm also really excited because a few of the directors that we have on the series, we've got the Daniels, who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar winner for Best Picture. Come on. It's one of my favorite movies of the past few years. And we've also got David Lowery, who directed The Green Knight and Peter Pan and Wendy, Pete's Dragon, Ghost Story. Again, one of my favorite directors because The Green Knight is one of my favorite movies of the last few years as well. Yeah. So I'm very excited to see what this show has in store for us. And the trailer is promising. The show starts December 3rd, and I love when Star Wars is Christmas. So
nice.
Next up, we have a show that I talked about several times during the time that I was talking about Skeleton Crew, Andor. I think that they were shown footage. We're not going to talk about footage that was shown that wasn't publicized because I didn't look for all of it. Although D23 did not seem to have as much of an issue as Comic-Con does with showing whatever was shown there. Like, they don't seem to care at all. But the stakes are going to be greater on Andor. Season 2 is going to take place over the course of 4 years. The Empire is more organized and dangerous, as they should be. Ben Mendelsohn and Forrest Whitaker will be joining the series, and they will be reprising their roles as Director Krennic and Saw Gerrera, respectively, which is awesome because I thought Mendelsohn did a great job as Krennic in Rogue One. And also, I love Saw Gerrera, and I love whenever Forrest Whitaker comes into play that character.
Yeah.
Rogue One is a very interesting phase in that character's life, but I'm excited to see earlier. I think he's in season 1, to be fair. I think he's in an episode of season 1.
Okay. And
he's phenomenal. He's always phenomenal whenever he plays Saw Gerrera, but like Rogue One is just a very interesting phase. I really like when we get to see more sane extremist Saw Gerrera. But the show will be releasing in 2025. The show is also only getting 2 seasons. That was not said at D23, but that is a thing that we have known for a while. So this is the final season, and it will lead into Rogue One. And I believe Diego Luna said that it's going to change the way that people look at Rogue One. It'll change like the type of movie that Rogue One is.
Interesting.
Once the show is over, it feels like this is very much going to be like a situation where like you can watch Rogue One and then immediately watch A New Hope, which is, by the way, a very satisfying sensation. I love doing that. It's so great. Highly recommend for Star Wars fans. But it seems like you'll be able to watch Andor and then immediately after watch Rogue One and then immediately after watch A New Hope, and that'll be a very interesting experience.
Nice.
Also, Alan Tudyk will be on this season as K2SO, obviously, reprising his role as K2SO, which is cool. And then the last thing that they talked about for the Star Wars panel was The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is going to be our first Star Wars movie back in the theaters. The film has already started production. It is releasing in 2026. There was a sizzle reel shown, which I did find the footage of on Twitter. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I'm so happy that it looks like The Mandalorian is something that you can transition from television onto the big screen. And it doesn't really lose anything. It actually probably is better.
Nice.
But it looks like it's going to be really, really cool. Like I said, this is the first Star Wars movie that's going to hit the big screen since 2019. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Star Wars fans are ready to get back into a movie theater and experience the galaxy that we love so much. The Razor Crest will be returning. For those who don't know anything about Star Wars, like Dallas over here, the Razor Crest is the Mandalorians, Din Djarin's ship that we grew to love over the first 2 seasons until it was blown up. It will somehow return. I don't know how. I guess we'll find out in the movie. And for all of my fellow Rebels fans, guys, Zeb will be in this movie. That's for us. That is for us. The movie is directed by Dave Filoni, which, I mean, yeah, of course Zeb is going to be in it. Dave Filoni is also, oh no, wait, is it directed by Dave Filoni? It might be directed by Jon Favreau. Ooh, which means that Dave Filoni's movie is going to be something completely different. Dave Filoni's movie, I think, is supposed to tie up all of the shows that exist in that timeline of Star Wars TV series. So The Mandalorian, yeah, they're pulling a Marvel MCU thing, which I hope that they don't make that a pattern just this once. But I think they're going to be pulling together like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka and everything that's been going on within that time span. Maybe Skeleton Crew, which takes place around the same time, but I'm not sure if that's supposed to be just a standalone thing or if that's also supposed to be connected. Andor, obviously not connected because Andor takes place before the Galactic Civil War, and Mandalorian and Ahsoka are post-Galactic Civil War. This is Dave Filoni's first attempt at a Star Wars film.
Love that for him.
So he is one of the producers on The Mandalorian, has done a lot of writing for The Mandalorian and a lot of directing for The Mandalorian. He also directed and wrote the Ahsoka series. Or, well, he directed a few episodes, obviously, of the Ahsoka series.
Has he directed any movies or just TV?
He's done TV. This is the first movie, I believe.
Wow, okay.
We'll see. This movie's but this one, The Mandalorian and Grogu, was directed by Jon Favreau.
Right.
Okay. I was wondering, because I was like, I don't think Dave Filoni's directing this one, though, because The Mandalorian is, I mean, Dave Filoni has done a lot of work on it, but The Mandalorian is Jon Favreau's show.
Okay.
But speaking of Jon Favreau, he is the director who's kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we've got some news from Marvel Studios to end off our recap.
All right. Marvel has been busy, as they always are. So we got Brave New World. They showed a clip of Captain America Brave New World. It is President Ross announcing the harvesting of adamantium from the Celestial, presumably the one that is in the ocean, right?
Yeah, that one.
Which is interesting.
I believe he turns into Red Hulk in that clip as well.
Okay.
Not the best place to turn into Red Hulk.
No, I don't know what his plan is there, or if that was involuntary.
It might be involuntary. Yeah. I haven't seen the clip, but I know that it was shown. Anthony Mackie was there, obviously, to talk about the movie. But we gave so much information about that from San Diego Comic-Con, as did Kevin Feige. If you guys want to hear more about that, you guys can go check out our San Diego Comic-Con recap episode, which is literally the last episode that we recorded.
Right. But it's interesting because it's interesting seeing adamantium written in an MCU thing now that we have Wolverine in there.
Yeah.
Because they weren't using that before. They would always just say vibranium for whatever metal they needed.
Yeah, and now this is our introduction to adamantium into the universe. I think they're finding a lot of really good ways of introducing things that are common to Marvel Comics that we were never allowed to really discuss or talk about or touch, and really bringing them into the universe. I think that's something that they're doing very well right now. Adamantium being part of like the Celestials, that's a great like origin for them. Like we weren't able to use them before, so they can't be just an earth, not chemical, an like earth metal.
Yeah.
So we'll make it an alien metal, and this alien being happens to, be here. So,
which is interesting because Deadpool and Deadpool Wolverine does specify that they gave him adamantium swords when he's with the TVA.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, bring it all in. Bring that adamantium in here. But yeah, that's all we really got from Brave New World. Moving on to Fantastic Four, we got, it was the footage from Comic-Con,
which we go into great detail about on our last episode, like I said. So if you want to hear more about that, go over to the San Diego Comic-Con episode.
And we got to look at the actual costume from Joseph Quinn. It's throwbacky. It's very like the vibe that we expected from, they said, like the 60s style.
Yeah, the white and blue costume.
I like it. Lean into that era of comic books. Don't be afraid of it. Make it look.
Especially since the movie's supposed to be retro 1960s anyway. Yeah.
Give us that Jetsons vibe.
I was actually very surprised that they let him like be in costume for that video. I was like, because it's like a hello video from the cast before they played the footage, because they are currently in England, officially now filming Fantastic Four. And I was just like, oh, you guys didn't make him change out of the costume? You guys let him be in the oh, okay. This is like a little tease for those people who like didn't go to Comic-Con, or just to show something a little different from what was shown at Comic-Con.
Right.
But again, they talked a lot about it at Comic-Con, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap, obviously, because D23 is Disney, Marvel, Comic-Con. They're gonna overlap.
On to the things that they didn't talk about at Comic-Con.
Yes, we got some Ironheart. Ryan Coogler showed up with the cast: Dominique Thorne, Anthony Ramos, Alden Ehrenreich, Lyric Ross, and Reagan Aaliyah. They came to talk about the show, which Ryan Coogler and Proximity Media are producing. Love that. I was very happy to see Ryan Coogler pop out on the stage. He always sounds like he's nervous, which is just like,
he is.
I get it. Yeah,
he totally is. And like watching so Marvel Entertainment actually has a recap video of D23. So you can see him talking to the audience. And it was the first time I've ever thought about it. I'm like, oh, right. If I ever, like, I've always wanted to go to like Comic-Con and like talk about whatever show that I'm working on. But it has never occurred to me how many people you might be talking in front of. And I'm like, oh, I would absolutely be like Ryan Coogler in this situation.
The first thing he says is like, oh, it's a lot of y'all out here.
That would be me. I'd be like, oh, there's so many of you guys.
So many. But yeah, shout out Ryan Coogler. He can do no wrong in my eyes, because he's fantastic, and everything he makes is fantastic.
That man ain't never missed.
Yes. So back to Riri. After her time in Wakanda, Riri wants to build something undeniable, but turns to less than legal means to afford it. Sometimes you gotta hustle. This leads her to Parker Robbins, whose use of magic conflicts with Riri's scientific mind.
Parker Robbins will be played by Anthony Ramos.
Okay, that's who. What? I can't remember what his character's name was. Like the Hood, which love that. She got to fight with the Hood.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've been waiting for this one for a while now, and it got pushed back. Marvel has decided to slow down production on things so that they can do quality control, which is great. It just means that we'll get better TV shows, better movies. Fantastic. It won't feel like we're just being inundated with Marvel stuff, hopefully, at least less so.
Right.
So it feels like we've been waiting a while for this one, but I'm a fan of Riri Williams from the comics. I've read a few of her comics and I really like her, and I'm excited to see what they do with the show. They've aged her up in the MCU because I think she's in high school in the comic books.
Okay.
And they're going to give her actual suit from the comics this time, which fair, makes sense. I know a lot of people were upset that it wasn't the suit that she used in Wakanda Forever, but it makes more sense that she get her own suit in her own show,
right?
Rather than it being in like the sequel of a movie where she's a supporting character.
Yeah, this would be a better place for it. Like the Ironheart show is where we got the Ironheart suit.
Especially since she's, no longer allowed to use that suit that she made in Wakanda Forever.
Makes sense. I'm also very excited because this show was created by Chinaka Hodge.
Nice.
Who is a frequent collaborator of David Diggs and Rafael Casal. David Diggs, personal friend of the show, by the way.
Hey.
And I know her mostly from the song she did with Watsky called Killer Hipster Save Your Hood. And I love that.
I made a reference to that in a script that I'm writing, actually.
Oh, nice.
I think I want to make a couple of blind spotting references in that script.
As you should.
As I should, yeah. And leaving the Bay and heading to the east side.
Heading to Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil Born Again. They brought the cast out. Charlie Cox, Deborah Ann Woll, Eldon Henson, John Bernthal, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Is this where we found out that all of them are coming back? Because I know before, I think it was like Eldon wasn't confirmed or something like that.
So I think what happened was initially Eldon and Deborah weren't coming back at all.
Right.
And we didn't know if John Bernthal was coming back. I think this is like the official confirmation of John Bernthal, but we knew Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio from the jump were going to be back.
Right.
And I think that when Marvel, because there was a period of time where Marvel stopped production and did a complete overhaul of the show. And I think during that overhaul, we might have gotten Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henson back.
Okay. Works for me. I'm very glad.
I'm fine with, yeah. I was very upset that we were not getting Karen and Foggy back. I know that there was a rumor going around that they were like, they're probably going to kill off their characters. And I'm like, I feel like that overhaul was to keep them in there and to really make them a part of the show. I feel like you don't really have Daredevil if Karen and Foggy aren't there. I feel like they are just as integral to the show as Daredevil himself.
I'm just so happy that everybody's back, including John Bernthal, because Punisher is freaking great, and he's perfect for it.
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. They did show some footage. They didn't show it to us, so
it's fantastic footage, by the way. I looked that one up.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Very nice, very nice. White Tiger will appear. It is, as far as Wikipedia is concerned, Hector Ayala, not his daughter, Ava, because, Marvel, there's a bunch of characters with the same name. This is Hector, who I think is the original White Tiger, but I'm not certain.
And if you watch the footage, you can tell that is a man in that suit.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, White Tiger's a dope looking character. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Kingpin and Daredevil seem to be teaming up to face a larger threat, which is crazy because they hate each other so much. So it's like, if these two are teaming up, something big got to be happening.
Yeah, the scene in the trailer, the scene, I guess it's a trailer. Yeah, the trailer. Sure, we'll call it that. Where they are conversing together. They're like in a diner, and actually Daredevil is not in his Daredevil costume. He is just Matt Murdock. That scene, when you watch it in the trailer, I'm like, oh, we're so back. Like this feels like Netflix Daredevil. We are so back.
Nice. Love it. Love it. And Daredevil is dark as hell if you remember the show on Netflix.
Oh, also the best. Yeah, the best of the Netflix Marvel shows for sure.
Definitely, as far as I'm concerned. I've loved it so much.
Like, I feel like season 1 was like the best season for me. 3 was also extremely good, and 2 was good, but just overall quality, just great.
Yeah, just fantastic.
Might need to do a rewatch.
I think I probably will when this comes out in March 2025 for anyone who was wondering.
Yeah.
And speaking of it being super freaking dark, Muse is a villain. And I don't know who the hell that was. So I looked up Muse, and Wikipedia tells me Muse is a serial killer artist who planned shocking mass murders, abductions, and torture as a means of creating his art. So,
wow.
Goodness gracious.
I didn't know who Muse was either. I was just like, this comic image is super creepy and super dark. Okay. But yeah, you said that, and I'm like, yeah, that fits in the Daredevil universe for sure.
It does, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm weird. So yeah, season 2 will start work very soon.
Which means that they must really, really like whatever they came up with for season 1. I think this is also going to be a Disney Plus series that for once gets way more than 8 episodes. I want to say they gave them like a regular amount of episodes, like 20 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
They were filming for a very long time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to give them like, or either that or like they announced that they were giving them 20 and maybe like the first season is 10 and the second season is another 10. I don't know. But I feel like I remember there being like 20 episodes. Yeah, sorry, not 20. There's 18 episodes for the first season.
That's crazy for like these days.
Especially for streaming. They never give us that many episodes. They're always like 8.
Yeah.
10
like,
if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're really lucky, you might get a 13 back in the old Netflix days.
Sometimes you get a 6, which we should never get again unless you can actually tell the full story in 6.
Oh, man.
But yeah, my only hopes are that A, they do not kill Karen and Foggy. Do not. And B, finally give me Matt and Karen as a relationship, as a couple. I've waited so long. And it has been a long and painful wait. I know that Marvel doesn't really do romance, but please, just give me this one.
Suppose we will have to see.
Also, sidebar that's associated, but not. There's a clip that came out recently of Deborah Ann Woll teaching John Bernthal how to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
I love that clip so much. Deborah Ann Woll is one of my favorite DMs to watch. She has a D&D series on YouTube called Relics and Rarities, which is fantastic. It's only like 6 episodes. She has a celebrity guest star every single time that they play, including Charlie Cox. He did come on to the show.
Also nice.
Kevin Smith also came on to play. It's great. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Janina Gavankar, who we like on the show here.
Yes.
Simone Missick, who was on Luke Cage. Like, she brought on like quite a number of people. She's such a good DM, and the way that she explained D&D, I've never seen it explained so in such a way that's so engaging and just so good. And I was like, I'm going to send this clip from now on whenever people are wondering why I like D&D, because this is it right here. She explains it so perfectly, and it's so great because like John Bernthal has no idea how to play D&D, but you can see his eyes light up immediately as he starts getting into like what D&D is.
Nice.
And like what you do to play. It's so good and it's so cool. And I'm like, yes, people are finally getting it, because I also was one of those people who would roll my eyes at the idea of D&D, and then I started playing it, and I was like, this is actually some of the most fun to have. It's so fun. It's so much fun. But yeah, Deborah Ann Woll is a fantastic DM, and I'm glad that she is spreading D&D like a religion.
Love that for her.
But anyway, speaking of things that have witches.
Yes, we are finishing up with Agatha All Along, just like they did. The cast of the show came out and performed The Ballad of the Witch's Road, which is written by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. They worked on Frozen, Coco, WandaVision. When Catherine Hahn said that, everybody cheered because, Marvel. And we got a new trailer.
We did get a new trailer. This show looks so fun and so interesting.
I'm very interested. I already was, because Catherine Hahn.
I was too.
And Agatha's great. But like, I love me some weird Aubrey Plaza. I'm a big fan of Sashir Zamata now because she was in World.
I am too.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see her in the first teaser because I was like, I forgot you're in this and you're so great. Because I loved her on SNL.
Yes, she was on SNL. Yeah. It looks like a fun time. They're going to get fun. They're going to get weird. They're going to get dark.
As soon as the music came on, it's so funny because my brain automatically went to actually The Acolyte. Because The Acolyte has a coven of witches that also have a song.
Okay.
Power of one, power of two, power of many. Which I think they used part of that to help make Victoria Monet's Power of Two song.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to say Jasmine Sullivan. And I was like, I don't think that's right.
Victoria
Monet.
But yeah, I'm very excited to watch it. I loved having the Ballad of the Witches Road in the trailer. I feel like we get a lot of stuff with witches in it, but I feel like I can't think of stuff in modern day where we have witches that do like the coven songs. Like those feel very much in the witch trope, and maybe it's because we don't have a lot of media that does witch covens so much as just having witches. But yeah, I love a good witch coven song. The Acolyte had one, and now we've got Agatha All Along has one, and yeah, and they came out, like them coming out and performing it. I watched the performance. It's on YouTube for people to see. It's really good.
Nice.
It looks like a fun show. It looks creepy enough.
It does. I'm always down for creepy.
Just in time for Halloween, as they said on the panel. One of our friends, I remember when I sent the first teaser, one of our friends was like, Hollywood has such an interesting definition of Halloween season because like the show's starting like September 16th. But like Disney Plus also releases their episodes one a week.
Yeah.
So by the time the show is over, like it'll be ending around Halloween.
Yeah, it'll be like in Halloween season, the show will be on.
Yeah, so they're right. It will be on during Halloween season. And plus, most of y'all start Halloween season in August anyway because you're weird, so.
I am a firm believer of I want to at least be in the month of the holiday that I am celebrating. So like spooky season for me starts October 1st. But yeah, Spirit Halloween is already over.
Some of y'all start going to Spirit Halloween after July 4th is over. Oh, the barbecue over? All right, time to go to Spirit Halloween.
I'm going to get my
spooky
costume.
Season has begun. Right? Like, dang, bro, it's not even October. I say as somebody whose birthday is in October, like, dang, hold up, give us some time.
Right.
But yeah, it's perfectly timed. WandaVision is still my favorite of the Disney Plus TV series that have come out. We'll see what happens when Daredevil comes out because, whoo boy.
Right.
WandaVision is currently still my favorite. Still holds number one. And so, yeah, if you're giving me a spinoff of that with, I mean, a number of people from WandaVision, like, you know, the songwriters from WandaVision came back to give us this ballad of the Witch's Road. And, you know, Catherine Hahn, I've become a huge fan of ever since Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah, she's great.
So I'm excited. And yeah, Aubrey Plaza. I like Aubrey Plaza. Shasir Zamata. I'm interested to see. I know a lot of people thought that the guy in the show, I can't think of the actor's name right now. Joe Locke, I think is his name.
Okay.
A lot of people thought that he would be playing Billy, aka Wiccan, aka Wanda's son.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true. I think he might just be a supporting male character on the show, but who knows? Maybe the show ends with the spirit of Billy entering this teenage boy's body, because that is kind of what happens in the comics. I don't know. It's very convoluted.
Weird. Yeah, a lot of people do think he's playing Billy because apparently he's cast as Keen.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're trying to hide who he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Probably Billy.
But yeah, that's everything from D23, guys.
Double D23 if you're nasty. Just kidding. But not really.
It's more like a triple D.
Well, yeah, don't you get there. That's like, man, we love it. Thank you, audience, for listening to all of that. Listening to us be nerds like you. If you're listening to this and you're here, you're probably a nerd just like us.
Or Disney shows, whichever one you want to be.
Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Aya, for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for Demi for editing, for putting us on YouTube, organizing our convention note, just like last time, but this time make it Disney. As always, you can reach us in the comments. If you want to talk about any of this stuff, there's something here you like. If you like Marvel, if you like Star Wars, if you like Disney, if you like Pixar, get us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC, or TikTok at Creative Differences Pod. The last couple of outros I've said I might take a break from Twitter because Elon is a bag of trash, but Black Twitter has a hold on me, guys.
Same.
I don't think I can leave. Y'all are too funny. So for the time being, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
Hey guys, you guys can find me on Twitter at Demi_Jouage, U.S. spelled Joie. Come talk to me about Star Wars. Come talk to me about Marvel. You know what? I said it earlier. I'm like a Disney shill probably. So just come talk to me about most of the stuff that was mentioned today. I want to talk about Moana. I want to talk about Snow White. I want to talk about Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, all of it. Percy Jackson. I'm on Twitter to talk about nerd stuff.
Yes.
And occasionally put out a social justice message, but mostly to talk about nerd stuff. So come talk to me. Tune in next time. I don't know what we'll be doing.
I don't either.
Getting real hard to record when all of us have a job.
Yeah.
But we're trying.
Yeah. We're making it work.
I don't know. I know that Dallas all Alien Romulus, and I know that we both watched Umbrella Academy.
We did.
Maybe next week. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. You'll be surprised by it.
This episode's not even coming out the day after we record it because we're going to an amusement park tomorrow, so it's going to have to hold off.
We got to have fun. But yeah, if you want to find the rest, you can find Gabby on Twitter at Zootopia Gone Wild, but she did specify that the content there is not suitable for everyone, so viewer discretion advised.
Good Lord.
And you can find Cassie on Twitter at Here for the Monster Jam. And I guess you can probably guess what she means by that.
I was waiting to see how you were going to get the monster truck movie into that name.
Yeah. She's here for it. But yeah, it's been different. Bye.
Bye.
We got to have a splash zone. Demi, question for you.
How?
Question for you.
Here we go.
With the upcoming movies that we've talked about, who is going to thirst harder? Me for Elastigirl or Gabby for the animals in Zootopia?
Oh, God. You know what? I think it's got to be you. You're consistent. You're just so consistent. And with Zootopia, Gabby would have to find a new side tiger character person.
Right. Yeah.
You're consistent, though. You got that one.
I do.
And it has led to the Pixar mom trend.
Shout out Pixar.